It sounds like you interface with this existing world of EDI and this existing like sphere of medical data, essentially transaction data that's out there. What are new companies building on top of it? What's it enabling them to do faster?
Well, when you think about healthcare transactions, like you have this kind of wonderful substrate, which is the fact that the HIPAA administrative simplification rules mean that everybody's speaking a common language. You think about like what makes AI so powerful for coding is that basically you have the compiler or a test suite, hopefully both, as a backstop. So like within the realms of reasonableness, you can kind of let agents run a little bit wild. You have pull requests, you have all this, review process, you have the compiler, you have tests that are going to run. And it's kind of a similar thing with healthcare. So when you think about all these tens of thousands of validation rules that exist as a result of HIPAA and the various payer-specific requirements, you kind of have this like compiler almost. You can think about what Steady has built as a compiler for healthcare. And what that means is that is a kind of tailor-made perfect use case for AI. So what happens now if you submit a claim as a provider working in a provider's office who's sending claims to Medicaid of Minnesota, and that claim gets rejected or denied? Well, you probably have somebody work the claim, in human scale. They're going through and they're making phone calls to the payer. They're kind of reviewing clinical notes and they're, drafting a letter. Obviously, it would be more efficient if that could be done via AI. And so we have hundreds and hundreds of companies who are building on top of Steady to solve these AI agentic workflow cases, both for what's called front-end and back-end workflows. So a back-end workflow is what we're talking about with like a rejected claim. A front-end workflow, which is different from front-end and back-end in software engineering,
Right.
is a front office workflow versus a back office workflow. So when you go into your doctor's office and you say, hey, I don't have my insurance card with me, but my name is Mike, and, I think my insurance is Cigna, but that check comes back as a rejected check because your name is not Mike, it's Michael, but it also could be Michelangelo or something else. Those things need additional kind of shots on goal in order to be figured out. And if someone can't figure it out, one of two things happens. The person picks up a phone and makes a phone call to the payer, which is very expensive, or you just get told, hey, look, you have to pay out of pocket for this procedure because you're not covered.